Hello, everyone. My name is Stanley St. Rose, and today we're going to be talking about The Man Made World by Charlotte Perkins Gilman. Now, before I go into summary and analysis of this work, please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and/or comment so that the channel can continue to grow. All right, The Man Made World. Within this work, Charlotte Perkins Gilman, she's really talking about a world where um, male behaviors male mentalities are favored more than women behaviors. So she talks about aggression, competitiveness. Uh, think about like warfare and male institutions, things like that. She says these things that are associated with men are more upheld in society rather than women characteristics, like things like empathy. Women are more likely to be nurturing. So things that are more common with women. She says like it's kind of like women are seen as second class citizens. They're not really viewed as equal partners to men in society. So it's like the world is more focused on what men are doing, and institutions are more focused on what men are doing rather than what women are doing. So, in terms of education, society, institutions, she's saying that women should be given more opportunities. The feelings and thoughts and characteristics of women should be upheld more because this is the only way that we will obtain a more beneficial society for everybody. Now, there are some ideas that appear within this work that are controversial. I don't think everybody agrees with what she has to say. I don't think men had in mind or built a world where women are excluded. Um, when you're talking about wars and society and you can view it as a man-made world because I mean, for the most part, for most of the human race, um, I mean, everything was governed by sheer force. Everything was governed by power and who had the bigger guns, kingdoms and warfare. It was just who had the bigger army, who had more men, who can impose their will on some other group of people. So from that standpoint, you can say it's a man-made world because from that standpoint, it is because it was these kingdoms and think about Alexander the Great and all the empires. It was men who conquered the world and colonies and all that kind of stuff. It was governed by male ambition. So if you're gonna view it that way, you can say she's right. But at the same time, it wasn't like men were just joining together to conspire against women to not let them be a part of the world or to make them second class citizens. It's just how the world was shaped. Now, in terms of equality, in terms of women being seen more in society, in terms of women being included more in society, it makes a lot of sense. This work here is definitely associated with first wave feminism, understanding women more, not just, putting them aside. Um, I mean, things like empathy, because in the world, I think the difference between empathy and sympathy are huge. Empathy is, you're understanding people, understanding their feelings, not feeling pity for them, but understanding their plight. And through empathy, we can make the world a better place because, if we can understand what people are going through, and why they're going through it, then we can make a change. We can make the world a better place and make it a more equal society. Understanding, like, especially for women, understanding that, they can reason and use logic. Because again, I do um, secede the idea that for a long time, several societies around the world believed that women couldn't reason and think critically and be logical like men. That several because like there was a point in time in society that when women went on emotional um, rampage, like on an emotional rampage, it was like hysteria. Um, but in modern society, women have been given rights and the ability to move in society and to conduct business in society. Um, I mean, we can say it makes society a more free, a more dependent reality for everybody. But I wouldn't say it's made society just a utopia. So that's one thing I would say about this work. Let's not just say that by giving women rights and the ability to conduct business, it makes society a utopia. No, because I think the same way that men will try to conduct business through aggression, power, women do the same thing. The idea that if it was a female-dominated world, that there would be no wars, that doesn't make any sense because women still fight. Women, there are female prisons. Women do commit crimes. So the idea that if it was a female dominated world, there would be no prisons and we would all live in a utopia. It's just, I feel like this writing does kind of hint we would just move towards a more like perfect society. That I don't agree to that. I think it's a more equal society. It's a more just society in terms of all humans having the same rights and the same abilities and being acknowledged as human beings for women is extremely important, and it has changed society. It has changed business. In terms of in that looking at it that way has made society better. But again, this writing here is very controversial. I don't. There are some great arguments to show that it is a man-made world. I think Sharp Perkins Gilman's idea that it's a man-made world. I think she makes a great argument here, and she's right in many things that she's saying here. But at the same time, I think yes, women should be seen more. They should be given more opportunities. They need equality, and that's pretty much have been achieved through first wave feminism. But I don't really like settle with the idea that society has gotten extremely better or we've gone to a point of a utopia. I'm not saying she's saying exactly that it's a utopia now, but at the same time, um, we have to be very careful with like because the title is very bold, saying that the world is made by men for men. It's kind of like what it's suggesting, but it's not like that. I think you have to put in mind, um, you know, the economics of the world, the opportunities of the world, how societies change over time. It's not just men gaining together and saying we built the world, it's for us, and women are second class. It's just things don't, um, just don't line up, and everything that people have, men, women, the different races of the world, everything had to be fought for, protest for, and debated for. So we can't just have a closed mindset and say it is, what it is on the surface. That's all I have to say about this work. Please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and or a comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video.